Good morning, everybody. I'm Elaine. I work with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, and I'm so glad to be here with you all this morning as we get ready to have our March story time together. Can you believe it is already the third month of the year? Here we are in the month of March on a Tuesday morning in March. Well, you know, I got to thinking about March and it being in the season of spring. And I came across a quote that I really like that I think describes March well. It's by one of our famous poets and storytellers, William Cullen Bryant. He described March in this way: the stormy March has come at last, with winds and clouds and changing skies. And isn't that true? Oh my goodness, we can have all different kinds of weather during the month of March. Here's another quote. I wonder if you've heard something similar to this. The March wind roars like a lion in the sky and makes us shiver as he passes by. When winds are soft and the days are warm and clear, just like a gentle lamb, then spring is here. I like that quote. You know, we often think of March as the first month in the spring season. How many of you all have heard, if March comes in like a lion, roaring like a lion, it'll leave like a gentle lamb? Maybe it comes from that quote. Well, you all know that I love pop-up books, and so I brought one for us to share this morning. As I said, we're in the month of March, and I often think of March as the first month in the season of spring. So I brought a pop-up book called Spring by David Carter, and I brought someone special with me to help me read it. This is my friend Lily. Hello, Lily. Ribbit, ribbit. Warm rain falls, melting away the snow. Flowers bloom, bees buzz from blossom to blossom, and baby animals romp in the sun. Let's look at this book together. Okay, Lily? Ribbit. Spring. Do you see the water lily? Raindrops fall from the sky. Pitter patter, pitter patter. Isn't that a beautiful water lily? Do you see the cherry blossoms? How many of you all have ever been to Washington, D.C. for the Cherry Blossom Festival? I haven't ever been, but I'd love to go. Rain making the tree frogs croak. Ribbit, ribbit. Yes, they do, don't they, Lily? How about the beautiful flowers? The rain watering the blossoms that feed the bees. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Oh, we have to have bees, don't we? We have to have the flowers so that the bees can be around. Now, how about the butterflies? Who flits and flutters from flower to flower? It's the beautiful butterflies, isn't it? There is butterflies, a monarch butterfly, the chrysalis, the caterpillar, the buckeye, the painted lady. Oh, Lily, thank you. I need a little adjustment on my hat. Ribbit. Yes. What about dogwoods? How many of you all had a dogwood tree in your yard when you were growing up or in your own home? I love dogwoods. I love the beautiful white ones and the pink ones as well. Who is singing? Who finds a worm? Oh, we see all kinds of birds come out in the spring season, don't we? Don't we, Lily? Ribbit. Here's the last one. Oh, look at the beautiful flowers. The earth is busy when spring is here. I love spring, don't you all? Don't you, Lily? Ribbit, ribbit. Well, thank you. Thank you for helping me to share this pop-up book this morning, Lily. I don't know about you, but spring is one of my very favorite seasons. I love it when the trees start blooming, the birds start singing. Well, you know, every month always has a special flower that represents that month. And March is no different. So, I brought a picture of the flower for the month of March, the daffodil. Daffodils or jonquils, they are the flower for the month of March, the month we're in right now. Did you know that sometimes, though, they are called the trumpets of spring? I had never heard them called that name before, but I really like that. They almost do look like a trumpet, don't they? And they certainly herald the season of spring. When I see daffodils, it always makes me think spring is just around the corner. Well, daffodils symbolize spring, rebirth, and happiness. And they come in all different shades of yellow and oranges and white. You can see it here on the picture. Listen to what William Shakespeare said about daffodils. Daffodils that come before the swallow dares, they take the winds of March with beauty. I like that. I thought that was a really nice quote about these beautiful flowers. Listen to this. Anybody out there have a March birthday? Well, listen to what this little rhyme says about those of you who are born in the month of March. All March babes are warm and bright, like daffodils, a spring delight. A sunshine smile is what you bring to make each day as fresh as spring. I really like that, and I bet that's true of all of you all who have March birthdays. Well, if you've been with me before at Storytime, you all know that I love poetry. And I want to share a poem with you now called The Song of March by Patricia Sisko. With winter's footprints in the past, and snows begin to melt at last, with longer days and shorter nights, the wayward winds of March take flight. 4 winds she holds within her grip, then hurls them from her fingertip. March's woolly, fleecy clouds of white she sets in skies of blue delight. Her wild bouts of gusty breezes roar through valleys, hills, and trees. March, she tears a hole in heaven's sky, so sun can shine and rain can cry. March gently calms as spring draws near, as blooming daffodils appear. March welcomes April's showers in, then gathers up her dwindling winds. Now her long journey home begins, knowing she'll be back this way upon a cold, late winter's day, when nights grow short and days grow long. Listen for March's whistling song. I like that poem, and I hope you did too. I like how it describes all the different kinds of weather, all the different kinds of happenings that can go on in the month of March. I don't know about where you all live, but just a couple of weekends ago, we had snow. Oh my goodness. Yesterday, we had temperatures up near 70 degrees with beautiful sunshine and blue skies. We're expecting rain today. You just never know. Well, here we are in the month of March on a Tuesday morning in the beginning of the season of spring, and it just got me to thinking about what all happens during spring. Now, I don't know about you all, but one big event I can remember from growing up was spring cleaning. Oh my goodness. The annual spring cleaning of our homes, top to bottom, inside and out. We would sweep and mop and dust till everything was shiny clean. Do you all remember that? Do you all remember maybe as children or even as adults doing that spring cleaning every time that spring rolled around? Well, that got me to thinking about something that happened to me last Thursday evening. It reminded me of one particular chore that we did not only during spring cleaning, but every Monday, without fail. Last Thursday evening, my washing machine quit. Just stopped right in the middle of a spin cycle. All that water and all those wet clothes just sitting in that washer. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to pull all those clothes out of there and wring them out before I can put them in the dryer. And then I thought, what I wouldn't have given at that moment to have my grandmother's wringer washing machine. How many of you all remember either your parents or maybe yourself using a wringer washing machine? Well, I'll tell you what, I can still picture my grandmother standing beside a wringer washer. It sat out on a little back porch every Monday. That was wash day for Grandma, religiously. Didn't matter the time of year, didn't matter the weather. Monday was wash day for Grandma. Now, during doing the laundry was an all-day affair for sure. She would get up early, extra early, to build a fire and start heating her water. She'd sort all the clothes. And if any of her clothes had a particularly hard stain to get out, she would use this piece of equipment. Anybody recognize this? It's a washboard, and she sure would use it if she had to. She'd scrub and scrub. Well, once she washed the clothes, then she'd wring them out, if you remember that. This is a picture of the wringer itself, and I can see her cranking that thing, getting all the water out of those clothes. I'm going to put it right here. Well, after she'd get the clothes out of the washer, then came the next part. She'd hang. No clothes dryer for my grandma. She would hang her clothes, recognize this, on a clothesline. How many of you all remember using a clothesline? Again, rain or shine, hot or cold. That's all that my grandma had to get her clothes dry. Well, you know, there are certain rules that at least my grandma had to go along with the clothesline. First and foremost, before she put any clean clothes out there, she'd take a rag and she'd clean the clothesline itself to be sure that that clothesline was not dirty. She certainly wasn't going to put her clean clothes on a dirty clothesline. So she'd do that first. Now, clothes were hung in a certain order. Whites were hung all together. The colored clothes were hung all together. This was important. Sheets and towels were hung on the outside lines because heaven forbid that anyone saw her unmentionables. Oh, no. Underwear was always hung on the inside lines. You would never want a neighbor to see your underwear. Oh my goodness. Do you remember those days? Here are some more rules Grandma had. Shirts were always hung by the shoulder, never the bottom. Pants were hung by the cuffs, by the bottom, not the waistband, and socks were hung by the toe, not the top. Monday was always designated wash day, no matter the weather. And you never washed and hung clothes on any other day, and certainly not Sunday. Oh my goodness, what would the neighbors think? Monday was the designated day. Now, when taking down the dry clothes, you always took your clothespins with you. You would never leave clothespins on the clothesline. Again, what would the neighbors think? Well, although washing clothes using a wringer washing machine took a lot of time, and it required a lot of strength of my grandmother and other women of her day, you know what? They all felt lucky. They felt fortunate to be able to have a washing machine at all. Their mothers and grandmothers, they had to go down to a pond or a creek or a river to wash clothes. They were thankful for these wringer washing machines. You know, I think that we take a lot for granted these days. I do. I can wash my clothes day or night. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the day of the week. Doesn't matter the weather outside because I've got an electric dryer as well. Things have really changed over the years. I don't think my grandma would have had much patience for me last Thursday night when I was complaining about having to take those clothes out of my washer and wring them. I think what my grandma might have said was, Elaine, what are you doing washing clothes on a Thursday night? You're only supposed to wash them on a Monday. It made me laugh and realize how very, very fortunate I am. So, spring cleaning, here we are in the month of March in the season of spring. But I did like to remember the hard work, you know, that my grandmother, and probably some of you as well, the hard work that you did that many of us take for granted today. Well, that's our spring cleaning. You know, I grew up on a farm, and so another thing that would often happen in the spring would be baby animals would be born. And I thought this morning we might have a little fun playing a game together about baby animals. I want to show you a picture of a mama and its baby, and I want to see if you can guess what the name of that baby is. I think some of them that you'll get very easily, but there were a few I had a little bit of trouble with. Okay, here's the first one. This is a mama bear with its baby. Who can remember what they call a baby bear? A bear cub. That's right, a bear cub. Okay, how about this one? A zebra. A mama zebra with her little baby. I wasn't sure about this one, but you call a baby zebra a colt. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? An animal with 4 legs that stands like that. Okay. Now I know you're going to get this one. Here's a mama cow with its baby. Yes, a baby calf. Now how about this one? A mama donkey. A little colt. It's a baby colt. Now, this one's kind of fun. How about this big mama rhinoceros and its little baby? Look at that little baby beside it. Yep, it's called a calf. A rhinoceros baby is a calf. And how about this big mama camel? Look at that little cute baby camel down by its mama's feet. Camels are called calves too. Oh, I love this one. Look at this picture. A mama sheep. I know you know what these little babies are called. Little baby lambs. Well, you know, I was sharing a story time the other day with some friends, and when we saw the picture of the lamb, somebody started singing a song about a lamb that they used to sing in school, and it brought back so many memories. I wonder if you know what song I'm talking about. Well, let's try to sing it together. See if you recognize this song. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. It followed her to school one day to see what it could see. Do you all remember singing that song growing up? Oh, I did. And we had so much fun singing that together. Anyway, good memories, yes? Okay. How about this one? I know you're going to recognize this mama deer. And it's little fawn. Little baby deers are called fawns. Look at the difference in this picture. Here is a big, tall mama giraffe. And look at that little short baby giraffe called calf. Again, this is a little giraffe calf. Okay. Now this one is kind of interesting. How about a monkey? I had no idea what a baby monkey would be called. They're called infants. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And this last one, I know you know this one. Mama horse with its little foal or coat. Colt. Oh goodness, springtime makes me think of little baby animals being born. I thought that was kind of fun. Well, you know, whenever we get together, I always like for us to think about what goes on during the month that we're actually in. Here we are on a Tuesday morning in the month of March, in the beginning of spring. March is the third month of our calendar, and its name comes from the Roman calendar month, Martius. It honors Mars, the god of war. Since wars and conquests were such important factors in Roman life, it was natural for them to dedicate a month to the god of war. You know, we talked a little bit earlier when we were looking at the daffodil about March birthdays, and there are some very famous people who have birthdays in March. Do you remember, not personally, but reading about President Andrew Jackson, the artist Vincent van Gogh, the inventor Alexander Graham Bell? Now, who remembers what famous tool or instrument Alexander Graham Bell invented? That's right, the telephone. Where would we be without that telephone? The poet Robert Frost, he had a birthday in March. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born in March, and the artist Michelangelo as well. Yesterday was the musician-composer Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday. And a person that many of us may be familiar with if we're living in Huntsville, a very famous scientist, Werner von Braun. His birthday is in the month of March as well. Anyone here have a birthday in March? Well, happy birthday to you if you do. What a beautiful month to celebrate your birthday in. How about holidays? What all happens during the month of March? Well, this year, and you might notice I've got my beads on as a hint. That's right, Mardi Gras. We celebrated Mardi Gras the 1st of March. It's celebrated in countries all over the world, mainly those with large Roman Catholic populations. Mardi Gras is always on the day before the season of Lent begins, which is 40 days before our Easter celebration. Now, the holiday includes street parties, parades, masked balls, and lavish meals. And right here in Alabama, we have a big celebration down south in Mobile. But of course, where is the biggest Mardi Gras celebration of all? That's right, New Orleans. How many of you all have been to a Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans? Well, I have not, but I have heard it can be a really wild time. I'm happy to just wear my beads and celebrate from afar. Other celebrations in March include Johnny Appleseed Day, St. Patrick's Day, and I'm celebrating St. Patrick's with my shirt and my earrings and my hat. And of course, the 20th of March, which was just a couple of days ago, is the first day of spring. That's one reason that we think of March. We think of the beginning of springtime. Did you know that March is National Peanut Month, National Umbrella Month, and National Kite Month? You know, we often think, don't we, of flying kites in March. Well, it's that national month. So, I dressed up in my green with my hat on. Like I said, one of our most celebrated holidays is St. Patrick's Day, and I thought it might be kind of fun for us to do a little bit more digging as to why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, who he was, what he did. I want us to start with one of his blessings. St. Patrick wrote many blessings and prayers for the people of Ireland, and I like this one. Always remember to forget the things that make you sad, but never forget to remember the things that make you glad. Always remember to forget the friends that proved untrue, but don't forget to remember those that have stuck by you. Always remember to forget the trouble that passed away, but never forget to remember the blessings that come each day. And I really like that. I think it's important for us to remember our blessings, and I will tell you that all of you all are a blessing to me. Well, in America, St. Patrick's Day is basically a time to wear green, have a party, and maybe a parade. The first American celebration of St. Patrick's Day was in Boston. No surprise there, as so many Irish immigrants celebrated there in Boston. It was in 1737. Did you know that more than 100 cities across the United States hold St. Patrick's Day parades? And that includes Huntsville. I, in fact, have been to one of those St. Patrick's Day parades, and let me tell you, they have a good time. They know how to have a good time. This day is to honor the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick. And in Ireland, it is a time for them to have a time of thanksgiving and to remember beloved people. Throughout the world, wherever there are Irish people or their descendants, the holiday is observed with parades, dinners, speeches, parties, and it is a major holiday in Ireland. There are many traditions associated with St. Patrick's Day, such as wearing green, because Ireland is known as the Emerald Isle. And of course, emeralds are green. Now, I've got a picture here of some children. Isn't that a fun picture? They're waving their Irish flag and they've got their faces all painted. I have a feeling they're at a parade or getting ready for a parade. So I thought that was kind of fun. One tradition is what we eat on St. Patrick's Day. People love to eat Irish stew, maybe corned beef, cabbage. Put that right up there. How about this? Look at this delicious dessert. Doesn't that cheesecake look good with the green on top? I'm gonna put this right up here. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on March 17th. That's the date that it's believed St. Patrick died at the age of 88. He is the patron saint of Ireland, and although he was born in Scotland, and when he was 16 years old, he was kidnapped and taken to Ireland as a slave. Well, he later escaped to France, and when he was about 60 years old, he returned to Ireland as a Christian bishop. He told people all about Christianity. He built many, many churches and schools and spent the rest of his life caring for the Irish people. He was truly beloved and still remembered today. This is a picture of what artists think that St. Patrick might have looked like. Now, one more thing about St. Patrick's Day. We think about four-leaf clovers as being lucky and shamrocks. Fresh shamrocks are worn and sent abroad to friends as a symbol of St. Patrick and Ireland. Long ago, people thought that the shamrocks had magical powers. There's a picture of one right there. Because the leaves stand up when a storm is coming, and people thought that they were lucky, that they had magical powers, and it would keep them healthy and happy. Well, I want us to play a little game together. So, shamrocks have 3 leaves. I'm going to say a phrase that has 3 words that are related, and I want to see if you can say for me the 3rd word. Here's the first one. This is the example. Sun, moon, and stars. Okay, let's try a few together. Hop, skip, and jump. Stop, look, and listen. Right. Ready, set, go. Knife, fork, and spoon. Very, very good. These are fun. Hook, line, and sinker. Very good. And how about this one? Even though we're talking about St. Patrick in Ireland, how about one for the United States? Red, white, and blue. Yes, very, very good. Well, that's fun. I like to know why we celebrate things and the meaning behind them. And I learned some new things about St. Patrick's Day. I have to ask you this. On St. Patrick's Day, did you wear green? Growing up in school, for me, if you didn't wear green, you got a pinch. I hope all of you did wear green. Well, we've had a good time this morning. I've had a good time this morning thinking about the month of March on this Tuesday morning and the season of spring. We've thought about different things that happen during the springtime and different events in March, famous birthdays. I want us to look at a book called A Gathering of Green. I've got my green on in honor of St. Patrick's. It's called A Gathering of Green, and there are all kinds of beautiful pictures in here of items that are green. I picked out a few that I thought we might look at together. This is a beautiful green broad-bill bird. I have never seen a bird like this before, but I love the rich green color. What about you? Any of you all ever seen a bird like this? Now, here's something else that's tasty and delicious. There are over 8,000 varieties of grapes, and the 3 colors that they can be found in are green, which we see here, red, and black. What is your favorite kind of grape? Do you all like the green or the red or the black? I like all of them. This is an interesting animal. This lime green creature is the caterpillar of the old world swallowtail butterfly. Isn't he interesting? Bright lime green, isn't he? With those black stripes on him. Oh. All right, this is one of my favorite pictures because I am a coffee lover. A mound of green coffee beans loose from their red casings. Despite the name, coffee beans are actually seeds of the coffee plant. I never would have thought of green coffee beans, but it hasn't changed my love of coffee. Now, how many of you all remember phone booths? I can remember payphone booths. Well, I like this picture. This is a picture of an old green telephone booth. The rickety green telephone booth sits among the trees in a snowy park in Finland. How about that? I have never seen this fruit before. I'm wondering if you have. Young green gooseberries, not yet ripe. These edible fruits have a sweet tart taste. I have never seen a gooseberry before. Have you? I've never tasted one, and I'm not sure if I would want to or not. They look kind of funny to me. Let's see. I do. I have one more picture that I thought was so beautiful. Though orchids can be found in an array of colors, these pale green orchids are gracefully understated. I had never seen a green orchid before, but aren't they beautiful? I'm so glad that we've had this time together this morning. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the month of March, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon, maybe in the month of April. Have a good day.